How are you, Zach? Thank you so much for talking with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, BB27. How's everything going with you?
Oh my gosh, BB stuff. I love it when people call me that. It's so funny. I'm like, should I change my name? It's kind of like all reality TV now at this point, but I'll
I
keep it.
it's funny because like when I'm on TikTok, right? And like obviously once you immediately get out of the house, you're flooded with Big Brother stuff, from
Mhm.
edits to like reacts to like everything. And so whenever I reference there's you and one other person, and I'm like, do you know who BB27 is? Whenever I'm talking to like the rest of the cast, they're like, yeah, we notice all of her stuff. Like we see it immediately on TikTok and everything like that. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
so surreal. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
because I'm
yeah.
sure your algorithm knows like exactly what you need to be seeing.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
so I like to start these interviews off by asking what your casting story is. I know you were just recently on, so I don't like know what you can talk about, but whatever you feel comfortable about how you got on Big Brother.
Yeah, I think I can be pretty open about this. I've been
Okay.
open about this. So I actually my whole recruiting process started last year. So, long story short, I was supposed to be on a different show, and I was actually an alternate for a show called I'm Anonymous. And then
Oh wow.
yeah. So that was I flew out to Spain last year for that, but through that process, I got pushed to two different opportunities, both Love Island and Deal or No Deal Island. And so I was actually supposed to fly out for Deal or No Deal Island, but then I got replaced last second for that show as well. And so I thought my casting process was done at that point, right? And
Mhm.
so, but I mean, it's one of those things where they told me through that process that Zach, everything is like a puzzle and you're this really great piece, but we're trying to find the correct puzzle for you, right? You have to be fit in correctly. And so through that process, the Bachelorette reached out to me, and I was actually supposed to go out in March to be on the Bachelorette. But through that process, the Bachelorette got postponed. Big Brother reached out, and so I honestly don't even know if I was allowed to tell you all that, but there it is. It's there for you. And
I don't see why
so
not.
yeah, and so yes, I definitely got recruited to the show, but I'm somebody that grew up loving Survivor, right? So when they
Okay.
called me about Big Brother, they asked me, how much do you know about Big Brother? And I'm like, well, I'm familiar with it, right? I do know that you're in a house, and I'm like, how close is it pertaining to Survivor? And they said it's basically Survivor in a house. Steph, they lied. It's nothing like Survivor in the, it's nothing
Like
like
kind
Survivor in the
of, but
house.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the live feed aspect is insane,
Yes.
right? That is the
Yes.
biggest thing that is just such an eye opener to somebody that, is somebody that has come onto the show and is, not that familiar with it. And so yeah, that's basically the recruiting story for me. I was one of those things where I got to the very, very end for a bunch of different shows, but through that a lot of people liked me. They, told me to keep trying and all that types of stuff, and I got the opportunity for Big Brother. So
Wow, that's amazing. That happens with a lot of people. It starts out with you applying for one show and then other people see you from that. So that's good. I mean,
absolutely.
a lot of people who want to be on reality TV, not just Big Brother, they should do that. Just apply
Yeah,
to other shows too. Um,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah, the fact that it's not a jungle, it's a house. That's so funny. Well,
I
how
know,
much
I
did
was
you
sitting
know?
there, I was like, they're like, oh, it's literally the same thing, except it's
Yeah,
totally not. There's
yeah.
nothing that's similar to it whatsoever in my opinion.
No.
But yeah.
How much did you know about the live feeds going into the house? Like, were you familiar with like how many people watch it and like the setup of it?
When it came to live feeds, I had an idea, but I didn't
Mhm.
realize like how like just strong the fandom was, right? Because when you're watching somebody 24/7, you can see them sleep, you can see them brush their teeth, like you really do become attached to that person, right? When you're watching like a show like Survivor, or if you're not watching feeds, you do start to like root for people, but you're
Mhm.
not watching them 24/7, or maybe for example, like the episode may cut them out for an episode, that type of stuff, right? And so I was aware of the feeds, and when they started like turning them on and we were actually live, I was aware. But it's one of those things where I still don't feel like the feeds covered all of the conversations, right? They still
Mhm.
can't, right? Because
Mhm.
when you go like to Pluto TV, you got the four different options or whatever, but there are still conversations or there's stuff that happens that live feeders don't fully see. So, like, I've talked to people outside of the house, and they're like, yeah, like that conversation got, twisted in a way that like is not exactly how it went, or, just because they're seeing this conversation still not, it's still not like 100% what it is, right? But I will say that the live feeds are one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. And yeah, I think it's such a cool thing because you really can grow attached to people on the show, and like you can have a very strong fan base or fandom or whatever once you get off the show, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some fans take it a little far, but
I
it is what
have
it is.
definitely noticed. I have definitely noticed. I've been sent DMs from other people that they've received from fans. I've
Yeah.
definitely gotten some crazy DMs as well, but it's part of Big Brother, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. They must warn you about that going in the house, that that's might happen, with social
Absolutely.
media. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things.
Yeah. What was it like walking into the Big Brother house, and did anything surprise you about the house or your cast at all?
No, so walking into the house, it was very surreal, right? So I was sitting
Mhm.
there, obviously I was the first one to get called to go into the house. And like, I'm sitting there, my knees are very shaky. I'm trying to tell myself that you have to bend your knees, all this types of stuff while you're sitting on stage before you walk in. And so when you go into the house, it was a crazy, the first day was the craziest day. And when we walked in, we woke up at 4 a.m. Okay. So our
Mhm.
call time was 4 a.m. We get into the house and we were up for over 24 hours that first day, because that
Mhm.
first day, nobody wants to go to sleep first. Everybody's like awake. You're trying to have conversations, all that types of stuff. And that was like the biggest shell shock to me when I walked in, is like, this is like, we're playing the game. We have to be up 24/7, like it's actually go time. Right. And so that was probably the biggest shell shock for me. And the other question you're asking is like, who was I most surprised at my cast?
Yeah, like did anything surprise you about the cast when they all walked in, like, first meeting them?
Well, it's funny. I don't know how much I can say, but it's funny because it's like you can tell when you walk in that like the different personalities that are coming into the
Yeah.
house, right? So
Yeah.
I would not call myself like the main the person that has to be the loudest in the room, but there are a lot of people in our cast, of course, that were casted that way, right? They are the people that want to dictate the conversations, want to, you know, be crazy and do all these types of stuff and this, that, and the other. And I would just say what shocked me the most is just how bold a lot of people were, like their bold personalities.
Mhm.
And there were some people that weren't, but I would say really just how strong each personality was in their own way. Like for example, I've never met somebody from South Dakota before, and then you have somebody like Kelly in there, and she's like so unique in her own way, right? I live in Georgia, and like I would probably never meet most of those people ever before, right? So yeah,
Right.
it's crazy. It really is crazy.
Yeah, I could imagine. What was it like for you when you saw or heard that Rachel was returning back to the game?
So I'm gonna be real. I had no idea who Rachel Riley was, because like obviously
Right.
like I got recruited to the show, right? And so
Hmm.
I remember sitting there and I looked at somebody. I'm like, wait, who is this again? So I went up to her. I should have said, look, I'm a newbie to Big Brother, but I did watch season 26, season 16. I'd seen other clips from different stuff, and they say you're an icon. That's straight up what I told her, and she was like, "Yeah, like I've played this show before, and we were able to see it when we were in the house, right? It's one of those
Hmm.
things where even week one when she got into it with Zay, right? Like so there was a bunch of different scenarios where you know she stood on 10 toes, you know what I'm saying, and she was able
Hmm.
to like really run the house in different scenarios. And I thought it was really entertaining because once I got evicted, she became HOH, right? And I was planning
Hmm.
once I got evicted to take a break from the show, like take like a week or two off. But when I found out that she won HOH, and then the rest of my melting pot alliance was on the block, I was sitting there thinking, well, I guess I got to keep watching the show now, right? I got to
Yeah.
pay attention. And so it was really cool getting to know Rachel though, because the stuff that I really wanted to talk to her about was Brendan, because I knew that she talked so highly about Brendan, so I wanted to figure out who he was as a person and what made him so special in her eyes, right? Because that's somebody that I looked up to, that's somebody that she spoke so highly about, that I'm
Mhm.
like, as a man that's trying to be the right person, be the nicest guy in the room, whatever, what made Brendan so special to you? So that's what I kept asking her when I was in the house.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah,
Have you watched, so you were out week 5, so I know you said you
yeah,
watched,
yeah.
you had to keep watching. So you
Of course.
watched all of the show back and you continued to watch the live feeds or what?
So what I ended up doing was I didn't watch any of the episodes before I got evicted
Mhm,
because, people obviously it's a TV show, right? So like when you're in the diary room, you want to hype things up, you want to say stuff in ways that, it can be on the show, that type of stuff, right? So I didn't
mhm,
want like to see people's opinions of me. I didn't want to see that. I just wanted to, since I was in the house, just jump straight into what was going on, right? And
yeah,
so after I got evicted from the show, I kept up with feeds a lot, especially like
okay,
the first month. And I was just paying attention to conversations. Obviously, whenever my name was brought up, it was sent to me, right?
yeah,
Everything was sent to me. And I decided, you know what, instead of taking a step back, let's actually just jump right into this and be very involved with the Big Brother community. And it was a lot of
fun.
fun. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a lot of fun. I was not expecting it to turn out the way that it did. I went live a lot. I went live with Adrian a lot, Jimmy a lot, and
Mhm,
it was very cool interacting with them. And what's cool about being, I guess, in pre-jury is that you can have conversations with like past BB alum about the season. Like I was able to make a lot of connections before finale night with a lot of BB alum, and it was very cool. But yes, I was heavily involved with the show after I got evicted.
I love that. Were you surprised about finale night, Ashley winning the final HOH and evicting Morgan? I know I was.
So it's funny because the pre-jury was getting prepped before we
Okay.
got on stage, and we were watching the episode as we were getting ready, right?
Mhm,
And we were rooting for that to happen more so because of it was, I don't want to say an underdog story because Ashley did play a great game,
mhm,
but we wanted to see Ashley win when it counted, which she definitely did, and take out the biggest threat, right? As a viewer, right? You want to see that. And we all felt in the pre-jury house or whatever you want to call it that Morgan, if she was in the final two, she was going to win in either scenario. But yeah, I mean, I to be quite honest with you, I don't think any of the pre-jury was surprised that she didn't take Morgan, just because from a game sense, I don't think it would have made sense for her game to take Morgan to the very end because Morgan was like running the table in terms of she was playing a great social game and then she was winning a bunch of comps. She was kind of like Casey in terms of like she
mhm,
really turned it on
yeah.
and she became this like comp beast, especially towards the end. And so I think it was a brilliant move, and she won when it counted. And then, I mean, you saw her speech. Her speech was insane. It was incredible. We were sitting there like all jaws on the floor, like, oh my gosh, she is crushing this speech. And so, yeah, I mean, she played a great game. I wouldn't say that anybody in the pre-jury was really surprised that she took Vince. I will say,
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely turned it on for her speech, that's for sure.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
you've been going live on TikTok, and I noticed when you got out of the house, fans were expecting you to link up with Matt right away, but
Yeah.
you linked up with Angela before Matt. So, can you explain like how that's been meeting them and other Big Brother alumni?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's been an incredible experience, right? It's one of those where I actually wasn't. I thought I'd seen some stuff where Angela was on Rob Has a Podcast and she
Yeah.
was like, oh, he's going to fly immediately, make TikToks with that, this, that, and the other. And I was laughing the entire time. I thought that was very funny. But no, I would say what's really cool about all the BB alum and specifically like Angela and Matt is that they were there for me. Like we've had conversations, off camera, off live, whatever. And they're like, Zach, if you need anything, if you just need to talk, if mentally you need to talk to somebody, like we're here for you, right? And so it's really cool getting, I guess, I know that they had a feud last season, but it's one of those things where it's like both sides. I've talked to both, and they really are great people. Like they really,
Mhm.
really are. And so, Angela, I wasn't expecting her. So I went live on Instagram and she actually invited, she wanted to join my live. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be very interesting to say the least. And I remember the first thing she told me, she's like, Zach, do you hate me? And I'm like, no, I promise, Angela, I do not at all. I do not. And it was really cool because she told me as a joke, she's like, Zach, can we please just make a TikTok before you make a TikTok with Matt? And I was like, absolutely. I was like, for sure. And it's funny because Matt then texted me after and he's like, dude, that's so funny. Please go hang out with Angela, have the most fun ever. And he was super cordial about it and he was super friendly about it, right? And so I would say with both of them, they're incredible people. I was really rooting for Angela on the Amazing Race as well. I was at the Amazing Race premiere. I was able to meet her daughter, and they were just like really, really kind people. And then like with all the BB alum, like I've met Chelsea, I've met Taylor, I've met a ton of people, especially when I was out in LA, and everyone has been so supportive of everybody on the show because it's one of those things where it's like you don't really know what it feels like unless you're in the house, right? And so they understand when you're in those moments, when you are vulnerable, when you are crying on in front of the camera, when I'm bawling for Zay for like 10 straight minutes, in week one, they're like, we understand where you're coming from. And
Mhm.
so they have been so overwhelmingly supportive. And honestly, I don't know what I would have done if they weren't there for us, right? And so they have really been like a really solid foundation for all of us, especially when we're out of the show, to just really vent our thoughts and just be more comfortable when we get back to the real world.
Yeah. It's possible to like them both, coming
I
from
love them
someone who
both.
does.
I love them both, and people
Right.
will be upset when I say that, but seriously, I love them both. They are great friends
Mhm.
to me, and yeah.
All right. Well, this is a really important question, Zach. The fans are dying to know. You just
Okay,
posted that you're in Louisiana with
I am.
Lauren.
I am.
So, yeah, where's that relationship? Where does Zoran, is Zoran a thing? Where does that relationship stand?
Yeah, I mean, hey, like I've been very vocal, upfront, and honest about where I stand, right? And
Mhm.
so one of the things is like when I got evicted week 5. So there was so much time in between when I got evicted and when Lauren left the house, right? So the number one thing that I wanted to do was make sure that she felt comfortable outside of the house, right? So it's one of those things where she doesn't really know where I stand because I've been gone for so long and she's been in the house and she's been playing the game. So I just wanted to be there for somebody to support her, right? I wanted to be there, somebody that she can talk to whenever she wants to, and just see where it goes, right? I mean, it's like life is crazy. She's gonna fly out. She's gonna move to New York, so there's a lot of stuff happening. But it's the type of thing where it's like, I'm open for anything, and we'll see. All I can say is like we'll see what happens. But I'm having so much fun in Louisiana right now. It is unbelievable, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go to, I don't know if I can dox this, but like we've got a lot of stuff planned like for the rest of this weekend,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think things are going very well. Things are going very, very well. So that's
Love.
all I will say at this point. But yeah, I've been getting DMs, Steph. Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? Well, yeah, I know. People freak out over showmances, you know?
I've
They really
been
do.
Yeah, I've been getting DMs because like we hung out at the after party. We were at an Airbnb
Mhm.
together after everything was done. And like when I went back home and she went back home, I got DMs, I'm not kidding, every single day being like, we got to see more Zoran content. And I'm like, guys, I'm trying. Like, I can't reveal exactly when I'm going, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But I love the fans. They're great. And they've been so supportive of the
Yeah.
process. So it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, it's definitely not their first showmance that they've stand. So,
Oh yeah, I was talking to Matt about it. And he's like, "Yep." He's like, "Just get ready for it." So
yeah, at least you have someone to talk to about it that's still in that
absolutely,
showmance. Yeah,
absolutely. So
yeah. Well, good. At least you guys are just, hanging out, getting to know each other. It's only
yeah,
been, what, 2 weeks maybe? Has it been 3 weeks?
I
Not long.
think I think it's been near. I think it's 3 weeks coming up on Sunday to
Wow.
when like we've been out of the house. So yeah, it's been good though.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about that veto power that you had.
Yeah.
You told Morgan on the live feeds that you didn't use it because you didn't want her going up on the block. Was
Yes.
there any other reason than that, or was that the only reason?
That was the main reason. I'm gonna be real
Mhm.
with you, Steph, because for me personally, up to that point, I had multiple alliances that blew up in my face. So
Mhm.
I had like the Burger Boys week one, Zay goes home, it gets blown up. The Bond gets blown up when Adrian goes home, right? So it's like there was multiple situations, even the heavy hitters when Jimmy goes home, right? So it's like I had three solid alliances where I felt really good about, and it's funny because Vince was with me in every single alliance, right? So like we were sitting there at night and we're like, well, what are we gonna do now, right? And so at that point, I told myself that the people that I was riding with were my final threes, So I had me, Vince, and Lauren, and then me, Vince, and Morgan, right? And I'm like, those are my people, those are my ride or dies. And I was really trying to work with Mickey as well in the melting pot, but like I was so frustrated because everything kept blowing up in my face that I'm like, you know what, I'm going to show how loyal I am to this group by not using the power, risking it, rolling the dice. And then in the scenario where Rachel wins HOH, which she did the following week, that would have been the opportunity that I would have used the power to save myself and take one of us off the block to give us a fighting chance. Right. And so that was my thought process. I knew for a fact that it was either going to be this crazy game move or it was going to be the worst move ever. And it turned out to blow up in my face, right? And so, it is what it is. I knew what I was doing. It was a high risk, high reward. And I was hoping through that I could really build trust with my closest people in the final three. Like, if it was Lauren that was going to be the fourth nom, I was going to tell her about the power. If it was going to be Vince as the fourth nom, I was going to do the same thing, right? And so there were so many different scenarios that could have happened, but that was my thought process in that moment. And I was telling Vince, I was like, dude, I'm praying either you and I win the veto or you or I win the blockbuster. We've got two chances right here, and it never happened, right? And so
Yeah.
I will say this, like the perception in the house changes so quickly also. So like when I had the opportunity, to use the power, I went around and asked every single person, am I safe in this game? I was like, how do you feel about me in this game? How do you feel about it? And everybody told me, you're not the target, you're totally fine. Ava even mentioned that, you're just like a pawn, even though she didn't
Mhm.
tell it to everybody, she had mentioned it to me. So like there were multiple feelings and moments where I'm like, you know what? I think it's worth it to try and risk it. But if people had told me, yeah, Zach, you are like a legitimate target, I would have used it as well, right? So it's like the scenario was perfect in my eyes to try and roll the dice. And that's the reason why I didn't use the power. And then it blew up in my face, and then we have Julie smacking me upside the head, right? So there's
Yeah.
there's so many different things, and I've talked to my friends and family, and they're like, if the way that you described it, of you saved yourself and then the following week you used the power, that would have been a crazy game move, and like that would have been really cool to see, right? So I knew what I was getting myself into, and yeah, it ended up just not working in my favor, right? So yeah, I mean that really was my thought process, though. I really was trying to save Morgan in that moment, because in my eyes, it was like I said, it was my two final threes. If anybody was going to be that fourth nom, yeah, I was hoping it was somebody else for me to use it, but it is what it is. So
Yeah. How confused were you when Julie Chen hit you with the cue cards?
I was
Truly.
so confused. Well, I mean, I was sitting there because I was like, I mean, obviously, I didn't really know. So
No.
I was like, what are you trying to tell me something? And then when she's back, and obviously, when I get my phone back, I see like the
Yeah.
meme of
Yeah.
everything that was going on. But yeah, I mean, I was like, what is happening right now? And then when I left, they told me, they're like, Zach, congrats, you just became a very iconic moment
Yes.
in Big Brother history. So I'm like, hey, I saved Julie, and then I was one of two people to get smacked upside the head by Julie. So,
There you go.
it is what it
Yep.
is.
You remade history, you gave
Absolutely.
us that, so we were really happy with that one. Um,
Absolutely.
what's the one moment that you'll never forget from your time on the season?
I will say, like, the punishment I did with Rachel was so much fun. It
Okay.
was crazy. So I ended up choosing Rachel. One of the reasons why is because I did want to get closer to her and like really, just get to know who she was. And when you spend 11 hours in a cage with somebody, you know the good stuff, the bad stuff, the messy stuff, everything, right? And so
Oh,
obviously the fees weren't on when we were doing that punishment, but it
right.
was something where I can look back on my Big Brother, journey, and it's something that like I find out how much of an icon Rachel Riley is, and I'm like, I was able to experience a punishment with Rachel Riley. And so, what's really cool is that, she is so grounded in who she is. She loves her family. She speaks so highly of Brendan and her kids. And, I just wanted to get to know like how she grew up, like where she came from, why she thinks the way that she thinks. And we were really able to dive into that during the punishment. And, I was able to leave that being like, Rachel is a really awesome person. That's literally like when I left, I said that. I'm like, it's so cool
Wow.
to see. And, I would say that was such a iconic moment for me personally. And I would say that's one of those moments where it's like, I can hold on to that and talk about that forever. So it was really awesome.
Wow. I love that. I wish we had seen it, but that's a moment for
Yeah.
you guys to remember.
It's crazy too, by the way,
Yeah.
because we had to get 4 bags. We got 3 bags with like in maybe the first 6 hours, and then we could not find that final bag for the final 5 hours.
Wow.
And like we had
Wow.
like a 1 in 13 shot to get it, and we got all the way down to like the final 3 bags. And we were actually by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, we're sitting there. It's like, okay, this is getting actually ridiculous. And so,
Yeah.
but yes, no, it was such a cool. It's weird to say it was such a cool punishment, but it was a really cool punishment to experience with Rachel Riley for sure. So
Yeah. Would you have rather been an egg
absolutely not.
or a
I
big
think
booty?
I think I got the free pass with my punishment compared
Right?
to both Keanu and Vince because it was just like it was like a 1 night thing, and then I didn't have to worry about it for the rest of the time there, right? And so what's really cool about that is, when I got to the veto comp when in the prizes and punishments, I was actually talking to Will before that comp happened. And obviously we don't know what the comps are before we walk onto the stage, right? And so I'm like, the prizes and punishment hasn't come yet, but I'm like, if this is actually it and I have a trip, I'm gonna give it to you. And he's like, wait, really? And I was like, yeah, I was like, you definitely deserve this the most. And so when it happened and I opened up my briefcase to reveal the London trip, I was actually laughing inside because I'm like, this God allowed this to happen so that I could actually give this trip to Will. And I was just very happy with how it turned out because he had the punishment for me to, do the punishment with Rachel. And if he had the egg costume or the butler costume or anything like that, it would have been a little more difficult. But I think that scenario specifically worked out perfectly in my eyes. So yeah, it was really cool. I'm
Yeah,
serious. If I
they
had
were
to wear an egg costume or I had
no.
to wear that massive butt around it, oh, I would have struggled way more than Keanu and Vince for sure.
Oh, I have to say, this is my favorite part of the season of the stupid punishments and the costumes. And I have 2 little kids, and they absolutely loved it. They could not wait to see all the little memes and stuff. I made one of Vince going down the stairs. I don't know if you've seen it on my page. Go look. It's so fun because the music I added to it. It's just so funny. It's so funny.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to check
Yeah.
it out. That's so funny.
Yeah. All right, I won't keep you too long. I just wanted to ask you one more thing about your season. What is up with the paparazzi? And have you been paparazzied?
I I've not been paparazzi'd. I have not
Okay.
been. I will say this: Vince is not the type of person to call paparazzi for himself. He's not that type of person.
No.
My guess is that it was just somebody that recognized him in the wild and they pulled out their phone
In the
and started
wild.
videoing him. Yeah, I'm just like, there's no way. I just, from knowing Vince and
No.
also talking to like Lauren, for example, she's sitting there. She's like, there's no way. There's
No.
actually no way Vince would ever do that. But I mean, it's like when you're out in public, right? It's like even on my flight here, for example, it's like one person's like, "Oh my gosh, you're Zach from Big Brother," and then it's like kind of like, "Wait, that's actually Zach." And so my assumption is that's probably what happened with the
Mhm.
paparazzi situation. I really don't think Vince would have. There's no shot he would have called paparazzi. I saw that article. I think like the Sun or somebody said that, and I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
bruh, come on now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's ridiculous. But no, I really don't think that was paparazzi.
Right. I talked to Sharon Tharp too, and she said she actually reached out to them, and I don't think he's paying for it either. But I just thought it was so
No,
funny. No, I
I
mean,
would
like
hope not.
honestly, I don't know. There's better.
Yeah.
You get your friends to just take your picture and post it for you. You know what I mean? You don't need to pay anybody. This we're 2025. Who's doing that?
I don't even think I really don't even think Vince had a friend do it. I really feel like it
No,
was
no, I'm
just
not saying that, but
somebody that saw him and then it kind
yeah,
of got out.
right.
But yeah, I truly say this. I really hope Vince is doing well with the whole
Me
situation.
too.
But yeah, time
Yeah.
will tell. So we'll see.
Yeah. I gotta be one more messy question. I gotta give you one more messy question. Is there
Okay.
a Big Brother 27 group chat?
Okay, so there is a Big Brother 27 pre-jury group chat that we had
Ah,
going
good.
into finale. And so we have that. I've asked people, and I don't think that there's not a full Big Brother 27 group chat. There's not, because it's like when we got off the
Mm,
show, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of people were messy. There's a lot of stuff going on. So do I
yeah.
think there's ever going to be a group chat? No, I really don't think so. Just because, like, it is what it is. But I've had conversations with a lot of people from the
Mhm.
house. I've connected with a lot of people from the house, and people are doing well. I know that we have this charity thing coming up in December in Orlando. So that's probably going to be the next time when a lot of us get together. So I'm really hoping that everyone shows up, but time will tell. We'll see. So, yes, we do
Yeah.
not have a full Big Brother 27 group chat. We do not.
Would you ever play Big Brother again, Zach? And if you would you change anything?
Well, if I have the opportunity, I'll tell them I'll use the power whenever I get it, right? Be the first thing that I
Yes,
use.
use it.
Yes, I will use the power. No, I understand how blessed I am to be in the situation that I am and the opportunity to go on Big Brother. I'm so open to that opportunity. I'm open to other opportunities on CBS. Like I said, I grew up watching Survivor. I love Survivor. I love The Amazing Race, The Challenge, everything like that. But let's be real, Kiana's going to be the first one out of our season
Okay.
to get a call, and it's going to be for the challenge, right? And so I'm really waiting for that. I'm really looking forward to when he gets that opportunity. But if ever get the opportunity again, I would love to. I would be so honored to. So yeah, it would be really cool.
Oh, perfect. So you
Yeah.
mentioned you're going to a charity event in December. Is there anything else going on with you right now?
Well, I am in Louisiana right now, so I'm visiting Lauren, and that's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of things that are happening in terms of BB alum are trying to get together. I know that there's a thing coming up in Los Angeles that I can't really say much about, but there's a chance that we all get together there. There's another one in Georgia as well that we're trying to figure out and try and game plan, kind of like a Friendsgiving type of deal. And
Oh,
so
okay.
there's a lot of those things that are happening that are more kind of like off the books, nothing like super super official. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up this fall that are those types of scenarios. But yeah, the official one is Orlando coming up
Okay.
in December for sure. So yeah.
Awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. Anything else that's going on and anywhere that people can find you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, I mean, so my TikTok, my Instagram is zcorn_29. I took a little bit of a break from posting for the last week, but now that we're here in New Orleans, it's full send again, right?
You
And
have
so,
to.
yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, I mean, like I'll still go live. Adrian goes live 24/7. He keeps, asking me to join his live and do stuff with him. So we're gonna still stay active in the community. But it's also the type of thing. It's like once you get back to regular life, it's kind of like you have to figure out your own life again, right? So, it's one of those things. Once you leave the house, you try and kind of like stay involved, but then also you wanna figure out life again and all that types of stuff. So yeah, people can find me there. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Thank you so much for talking with me, Zach. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, BB Steph. Hopefully all is
Yeah.
well. And yeah, thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.